Hey, what is up, everybody? Coach Kyle here, and today is January 10th. I think it's a Friday. I don't know what day it is. I think it's January 10th. It's definitely 2020, and I want to give a quick training update. Um, I've taken most of the last month, 4 weeks or so off. I don't know the exact dates. Off from any type of actual run training. I've done a few runs here and there, but as a recap, September 15th, I did a net downhill marathon. I ran it in 2:59 and had some really serious quad discomfort, pain on my left side during that run. It's exactly like it was, I think, a year or 2 years prior. I'm not good with dates, people. At the net downhill Fort Collins, Colorado marathon. And during that race, it basically shut the marathon down for me. I would have DNF'd if I wasn't in the middle of nowhere, not really able to DNF. So I jogged out. I jogged in. I went from 2:59 pace to a 3:23 marathon. I basically jogged the last 10 miles, and it was fine. It hurt, but whatever, and I recovered after that. I was pretty much good to go until September 15 during that marathon, where it really started to act up again. And I, thankfully, during that marathon, the Sundance to Spearfish marathon, it didn't totally shut down the race, and I got my 2:59, which was super. And I took a period of rest. I took a couple weeks pretty much off after that. Thought I was good to go. And then about a month ago, during a normal group run, a few of us ran pretty hard down a really steep hill and felt fine. The next day, my quad kind of ached, and it was right in that spot where I had experienced the discomfort maybe like 5-6 times prior in the last few years, twice during downhill marathons. Also, it's interesting to note that during the two 2019 flat back-to-back weekend marathons, totally fine, no quad discomfort at all. Just the two net downhill marathons I did. So I've taken most of the last 3-4 weeks off, a few jogs here and there, and I ran on Tuesday and then yesterday, Thursday. And I really want to stress that I think because I rested so well, I rested so thoroughly for the most of the last 3-4 weeks. I felt fine the day after, Wednesday, and then today, Friday. And I'm going to go out for an easy run tomorrow, probably Saturday, maybe a little longer. I did, I don't know what, 5 and 4 miles this week. So I think I might do 8 to 12 on Saturday. We'll see. But, so far so good. And it's so incredibly important to just think about, and this is so hard for me, and I want to run so bad today, but I'm not doing I haven't done any consecutive run days, and I won't do any until next week, just to give my body that extra day to, mainly just the quad, extra day to fully recover. And like I said, it's been totally fine, but I'm still being very careful. And that's an important thing to remember, is not only that have I taken a really good period of rest for the last 3-4 weeks, but I'm still being really careful. And it feels fine. I haven't had any quad discomfort in, I don't know, 2.5-3 weeks maybe, but I'm still giving my legs a full rest day between runs. And even next week, I might not. We'll see kind of how I feel. I might just do Tuesday and Thursday again, but I'm still being really careful. And the message I'm trying to get across here is that and this is mostly when you're kind of returning to running from a period of rest. It's just because you feel good, normal, doesn't mean you're not ready, doesn't mean you're ready to jump back into it. Still practice patience for a couple weeks as you return to running, act like you're still hurt. Act like you're still recovering, because you might be a little bit. And it's always better to be safe than sorry. So I'd rather get to 2 weeks from now. Um, Obviously, I would have liked to have been running 40 to 60 mile weeks over the last month. But if I would have even tried 20-mile weeks, I most likely would have developed a full-blown injury. But I chose to rest really thoroughly, and I'm assuming, I'm hoping, I'm expecting that in 2-4 weeks, I'm probably good to go to start doing some more structured training. And I wouldn't be in that scenario, a month from now, if a month ago I wouldn't have really backed off. And I backed off my running, I backed off my walking because it still ached a little bit from the walking, but I really upped my strength work. So again, use any time off from running as an opportunity to do other things better. Sleep in, like me, do more strength work, do more mobility massage type stuff. Just because you're in a period of rest doesn't mean you should just be lazy. Don't let it be an excuse to be lazy. Let it be an excuse to fit in other things that you might not have been doing well, or doing as much as you could do with all this extra free time. So that's my message to you. Be mindful. Ask yourself, what would Coach Kyle do? Coach Kyle rested for 4 weeks and barely ran. And now hopefully Coach Kyle is good to go. So keep that in mind. Stay healthy. Always think long term. The ego wants to run. The ego wants to run faster, harder. The ego hates resting, but the ego is not the amigo, especially when it comes to run training. Think with, you have to have empathy with your future self. And my future self is probably going to be glad I took most of the last 4 weeks off. So, as always, you keep running unless you've got a little niggle, and I'll keep coaching.